Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place where we take interesting ideas, compelling stuff, and really dig into them so you get the core insights.
Yeah, we try to get under the surface for you.
Exactly. And today we're looking at a really practical framework for thinking about, well, a better life. It comes from a talk by Jim Rohn.
Right, the famous four MIMS. It's a concept he talked about quite a bit. Four key areas.
Yeah, four fundamental pillars, you could say, that he believed really shape our reality, our well-being.
And our mission today, really, is to unpack these four M's. What are they? How do they work on their own? And, maybe more importantly, how do they link together?
Because they do link together, right? That's kind of the whole point.
Absolutely. It's about understanding that interplay. Think of this as a way to quickly grasp some powerful principles for improving things.
You know, when I first heard about this, it just clicked. It felt so clear. Such a straightforward way to figure out where to focus if you want to make changes.
Simple, but not necessarily easy in practice, of course.
True. Okay, so let's jump in. The first M he talks about is,
Your mouth? Seems basic, maybe? But Ron saw it as like the gateway. It's how we express everything that's going on inside our thoughts, feelings, and tensions.
so communication, basically.
Yes, but in two key ways. Communication with others, obviously,
Mm.
but also, and this is crucial, communication with ourselves. That self-talk,
Ah, okay. The internal chatter. We all have it.
constantly.
Right.
And this framework really hammers home the power those words have. What you say to yourself shapes your reality.
Right. Like if you're always saying, I can't do this, or this is too hard, or I'm not smart enough.
You start to believe it. You actually create barriers.
Right.
It's like you're writing your own negative script.
Versus the flip side, saying things like, okay, I can figure this out, or I am capable, or even just, I'm getting better at this.
Exactly. That positive or even just neutral, effort-focused self-talk builds you up. It empowers you. It opens doors instead of closing them. It changes the potential outcomes significantly.
It's quite something to realize how much influence that inner voice has.
It really lays the foundation.
And then there's the other side, talking to other people. How does that fit in?
Well, the mouth is also our tool for connection, right?
Mhm.
Or disconnection, if we're not careful. It's about building bridges or sometimes burning them.
Through misunderstandings, maybe? Poor communication?
Precisely. Effective communication isn't just about talking at people. It's also, critically, about listening. Truly listening. Trying to understand where the other person is coming from.
Active listening, understanding different perspectives.
Yes. When you communicate thoughtfully, when you really listen, you build much stronger relationships, both personally and professionally. That's the power of the mouth, used well.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So it's about being mindful of our words inside and out. Got it. Let's move to the second M, your mind.
The mind. Now, this is presented as, like, the command center, the absolute epicenter of your life.
Where everything happens first. Thoughts, beliefs, attitudes.
All of it. And the core idea here is stark. Your mind can be your absolute best friend, or...
Your worst enemy.
Exactly. And the choice, Rohn argued, is ultimately yours. You have agency there.
I like the analogy used here, planting seeds. That really paints a picture.
It does, doesn't it? If you constantly plant seeds of negativity, doubt, fear, well, that's the harvest you're going to get.
But if you consciously choose to plant positive seeds, seeds of possibility, growth, empowerment,
Then you cultivate a totally different inner landscape, one where good things are more likely to grow. Sounds simple, but think about the mental diet you feed yourself daily.
yeah, what kind of seeds are we planting? It's a powerful question.
Yeah.
But it's not always easy to stay positive, is it? Life throws curveballs.
Oh, absolutely not. And the framework acknowledges that. It's
Yeah.
not about pretending problems don't exist.
Yeah,
It introduces the idea of mental resilience.
bouncing back, seeing the silver lining maybe?
Sort of. It's the ability to navigate challenges without getting completely derailed, to learn from setbacks, to maintain a fundamental sense of hope or capability even when things are tough. It's like mental fitness.
And developing that fitness involves more than just positive thinking, right? There's a big emphasis on learning.
Continuous learning, yes.
Hmm.
It's presented as vital for the mind. The world changes so fast. If your mind stays static, you fall behind. You limit yourself.
And learning here isn't just formal education, like school or university.
Not at all. It's much broader. It's learning from life, from experiences, the good and the bad. Learning from failures, from successes. Reading books, listening to talks, finding mentors.
Okay, so actively investing in your mental growth. Asking yourself, what am I reading? What new things am I exploring? Am I challenging my own assumptions?
All those things.
Yeah.
Because the fundamental point is If you want to improve your life, you have to start by improving your mind. Everything flows from there.
That's a strong connection. Okay, mind leads us naturally to
The third M,
third M.
your mood.
Right, our emotional state. This is described as the emotional climate of your life, which, like the weather, can change.
It definitely fluctuates. But here's the key difference highlighted. Unlike the weather, you actually have some influence over your mood. You're not just a passive recipient.
Through emotional regulation, is that the term?
Yeah, or just emotional awareness and management. It's not about suppressing emotions. Let's be clear on that. You don't want to ignore anger or sadness.
So it's not about pretending to be happy all the time.
No, definitely not. It's about developing an awareness of what you're feeling and why, and then making a conscious commitment to your emotional health. Learning to navigate those feelings without letting them hijack you.
So even when things are difficult, you can kind of manage your response, stay more grounded.
That's the goal. Building that resilience, that sort of inner, unshakable quality, even amidst turmoil.
How do you do that, though? What are the practical steps?
Well, first, recognizing emotions are normal. They're signals. Second, learning to observe them. Like, okay, I'm feeling angry right now, without immediately reacting or getting swept away. Developing that observer self, that's emotional intelligence.
Observing without judgment, maybe.
Kind of. And understanding triggers. Plus, there's a huge connection drawn here to physical health.
Ah, the mind-body connection again.
Absolutely. Sleep, diet, exercise. These aren't optional extras for a good mood. They're foundational. It's hard to feel emotionally balanced if you're exhausted or eating poorly.
That makes sense. And what about stress? It seems unavoidable.
It often is. The focus isn't on eliminating stress entirely, because that's probably unrealistic for most people. It's about managing it effectively.
How?
Finding healthy outlets, relaxation techniques, hobbies, exercise, spending time in nature, connecting with people. Whatever works for you to decompress and recharge, it's crucial to avoid burnout.
Because burnout totally tanks your mood.
Completely. So managing stress is key. And the overall point is a generally positive or stable mood positively influences pretty much every other area of your life.
Okay. Mouth, mind, mood. Which brings us to the fourth M. And this one, as the source notes, can sometimes feel a bit tricky for people.
Right. The fourth M is money.
Yeah. Sometimes an uncomfortable topic, but undeniably significant.
Hugely significant. Ron apparently referenced Zig Ziglar saying money is up there with oxygen. Maybe a bit dramatic, but it makes the point.
It highlights its importance in just functioning in the modern world.
Exactly. And the core idea isn't necessarily about being rich. It's about how you manage money. That management can lead to peace of mind, or it can lead to a whole lot of stress.
So financial literacy comes into play here. Budgeting, saving, investing.
Absolutely essential. Understanding where your money comes from, where it goes, having a plan. Money doesn't manage itself. You have to take control.
And it's not just about how much you earn, is it? It's also about how much you keep.
And how wisely you use it. Living within your means is presented as a fundamental principle. Seems obvious, maybe, but it's a common struggle.
For sure. And this ties back to the mind again, doesn't it? The mindset around money.
Oh, definitely. There's a big piece on the mindset. Do you operate from a place of scarcity, feeling like there's never enough? Or do you cultivate a mindset of abundance, believing that value can be created and wealth can grow?
And that belief system influences your financial actions and outcomes?
Profoundly, according to this framework. Viewing money positively, seeing it as a tool for achieving goals, for helping others, for doing good, that perspective can actually help attract more financial well-being.
Interesting. So how do you cultivate that healthy money mindset?
Well, first, seeing money clearly as a tool, not an end in itself. Second, educating yourself financially. Knowledge reduces fear and builds confidence. And third, interestingly, the principle of giving.
Giving. How does that help your money situation?
The idea is that giving, even small amounts, reinforces that belief in abundance. It shifts your focus from lack to flow. It signals to yourself that you trust there's enough to share. Okay, before we go further, if you find this deep dive into the 4Ms useful, if these ideas resonate, maybe consider subscribing to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, we explore lots of stuff like there's frameworks for growth, interesting perspectives. We'd love to have you join the conversation there. Just hit subscribe.
Okay, so we've looked at the 4Ms individually. Mouth, mind, mood, money. But the real power comes when you see how interconnected they are.
Right, it's not like they exist in separate boxes. They influence each other constantly.
Massively. Think about the chain reaction. What you say, mouth, affects your thoughts and beliefs.
Mind. Your mindset then shapes your general emotional state, mood.
Your mood definitely impacts your decisions, including financial ones. Money. Are you spending impulsively when you're down? Are you too anxious to invest when you're fearful?
And then, of course, your financial situation. Money feeds back into your stress levels, your mood, maybe even your self-talk.
It's a complete cycle.
Yeah.
Or maybe a web. Everything touches everything else.
So focusing on just one area, like only trying to make more money without addressing your mindset or your self-talk.
Might not lead to lasting change or true well-being. This framework suggests that real, sustainable improvement happens when you work towards balance across all four.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? How do we achieve balance?
Well, the starting point, emphasized again and again, is self-awareness. You have to honestly assess where you are right now in each area.
Taking stock. How is my self-talk? Am I actively learning? How am I generally feeling? Am I in control of my finances?
Exactly, that honest look. And if you find areas that need work, the key is not to get discouraged. Awareness itself is the first crucial step.
And then it's about small steps, right? Not huge, overnight transformations.
Precisely. The power lies in small, consistent changes sustained over time. That's what leads to significant results.
Like the example given, just shifting one recurring negative thought. Instead of, I'll never be good at this, maybe changing it to, okay, what's one small thing I can practice today to get better?
That tiny shift in language, mouth, can subtly alter your mindset, mind, which might make you feel a little more hopeful or motivated, mood. It creates ripples.
So success, in this view, isn't one giant leap. It's the sum of these small daily choices across the four M's.
That's the idea. And balancing them is a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
It's not a destination you reach and then you're done.
It requires ongoing attention, constant adjustment.
Yeah, constant awareness, adjustment, and growth. Things will fall out of balance sometimes. That's normal. Life happens. The key is to notice it and gently take steps to correct course.
Progress, not perfection.
Exactly the phrase. Striving for that unattainable perfection is just another trap.
And the payoff for this ongoing effort.
A richer, more fulfilling life. One where you feel more aligned, more in control, more capable of navigating whatever comes your way.
So wrapping this up then, the key takeaway is these four M's, mouth, mind, mood, money, Dre, they're fundamental, they're interconnected, and they massively influence your quality of life.
They really do. And conscious attention, consistent effort in each of these areas, that's where the potential for real transformation lies.
So a final thought for everyone listening. Take a moment to reflect. Which of these four M's feels like it has the most significant pull, positive or negative, on your life right now?
And following on from that, what's just one small, manageable step you could commit to taking today to bring a little more balance or intention to that specific area?
Just one small thing, and then maybe notice what happens. Observe the effects, however small they might seem initially. You might be surprised.